Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Wednesday night. I am Kurt with Kurt's Card Care, and it is officially 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. EST where I'm at. So, hope you guys are enjoying the week so far. Thanks for being here. What's going on, you guys? Welcome. And don't mind me, I'm just getting set up over here. And thank you guys for taking some time to jump in tonight, you guys. Good to hear from you. So let me just finish my setup here, you guys, and we'll get rolling. So hope everybody's doing well. What's new? Anything good, you guys? Got any? Hope your summer's off to a good start. Yeah, Dan, we'll get Ozzie's sideburns in here tonight. You know what I'm saying? No problem. We can do that. So when I'm looking around, guys, I'm just getting all my stuff kind of set up here, and I looked down and it was like 10 o'clock already. I'm like, oh, gotta get going. But tonight, guys, I want to do a couple baseball cards, do a Charizard, and just show you a couple little things, and hopefully we'll do some stuff. A-Town, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. I was able to run into a bunch of good friends and put some Instagram handles and stuff together with some faces at the Detroit Card Spectacular, I think we called it. Where is that where we're at, you guys? So that was sweet. We had a good time with that, and that was this past weekend, and it was just great. So it was fun to have a big card show in Michigan, and thank you guys for being here tonight. And for those of you watching, you guys, tonight we're gonna do a Jeter. We're gonna do, like I said, a Charizard. We'll do an Ozzie, and it's like important stuff, but I think it's easy stuff too. And it's some of the stuff is like I'll make videos on it, but it's, I can't make them. I don't want them to be super long. You know what I mean? So like when you guys have time to join like this and watch, it's cool. I can kind of like lay it all out. Hey man, peace and love from Houston, Texas. What's up, you guys? Kurt here, and where are we? We always, if you live in Metro Detroit, we always say Detroit. I don't live in Detroit, but just about 30 minutes outside of it. So hello from the greater Metro Detroit area to all of you. So check this out, you guys. It's garage sale season back here in Michigan, and it's card show season. So I like the good ones, but I like the dollar bins too. This card was in, like, it was. I think it's the perfect condition of a card that you'd find in a box. All right. So like, here's what I talk about it. Hey, that'd be sweet to make that Ozzie a 10. That card in the 10 is valuable, isn't it? So, but check this out, you guys. So I've been inspired. Remember how, if you guys, let's just pretend you watch some of my stuff. If you've seen me remove like little dents from Pokemon cards or baseball cards, I used to find it really difficult on surfaces like this. See it above the word draft pick? So I just wanted to test around a little bit more with some like early 90s stuff and just try to get that stuff out. So we'll do that. And then, since this card was not protected, all the corners are like, it's like the perfect example of like if you go look through for your card collection when you were a little kid. Am I right? And if you didn't take care of it very well and you find them and you're like, you'll find a card that you see is expensive like on eBay or something, and then you pull yours out and you're like, yes, I got one of those. And then you start looking and you're like, oh man, but mine's got a dent on it. Oh man, my corners are all busted. So if you guys have any of these at home, hold on to them, because there might be some help I can show you. I'm trying to show you all like that, so you see it all, right? So here's my what I think I have to do. I think that I have to, Dr. Rockjag, I love that. Yes, all my cards look like that. Well, dude, seriously, this is how I took care of my cards pretty good when I was a kid. I was a little weird like that. I was always into cards ever since little, but I would find a lot of them like this. So this is exactly how this card came. So I'm going to show you guys a couple things, but here's my goal. I want to work on the little light corner issues we have. I want to work on these. And then I want to do, like we were doing with the Pokemon, I want to put like a little bit of card spray on here and hold it for the night. Because I'm convinced now that I can get most of this surface crap out. But let's just do a Sorry if I pulled the card away, you guys. I'm getting a step ahead of us. I want to look at the corners. So hold on one second. I'm displaying my Joe Namath card here. Did you guys see this one? I did this Joe Namath card that was like so beat up and so nasty that I'm like displaying it because I love it because it looks cool now. But anyways, that's another video. It's posted on Instagram and all those other places if you want to see it. So let's see what I'm trying to see here. I know it's like shooting a screen from a screen, but that corner's, you can't tell that it's bent, but it doesn't look too bad up there. Let's see this one. All right, that one's pretty bad. And then the other ones don't look that bad under this because they're all because they're hit from this way. They're all like opened up, you know. So that's kind of like what I'm dealing with. So I just like to look at them up there, you guys, before I go and start working on it down here, because since I'm gonna have to hold it for a little bit, I just want to get those out the best I can, because I don't want to hold the card between like my plates or whatever, like I'm telling you, until I get these corners out and in shape. Does that make sense? I don't want to hold it right now if the corners are falling in on themselves. All right. So I'm just reaching over here and getting a plate. So let me take a look here. And you guys, I always will try to do my absolute best to answer all your questions. And if anybody, I know I got a good group of friends and customers on here. If you guys feel free to answer some too, but I'm going to be looking down for a few minutes here. I want to try to get that in place, that in place. There. Those aren't that bad. Oh yeah, but they are on the front. Yeah, all the corners are, it's like a typical card you pull out of your kid box, you know what I mean? So let's start on the back. And I'm not going to like fly through this, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time with these corners, because I am going to hold the card, because there's no way I'm going to get this out, that indent out with just like putting moisture on it. I gotta hold it with a little light moisture, if that makes sense. You know? So let me show you what I'm talking about. And hey, everybody, welcome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys taking some time out of all the millions of Instagram channels to hang out here for a little bit. So here's what we're going to do. That was card spray, guys. Sometimes I'll just pretend that you've never seen anything like this before. So what I just did was card spray, and I just want to get a little touch of it on one of my detail Q-tips. And I'm just going to put a light amount on each of these corners. And then I'll show you step 2. And you guys, you just want to be light with this. It's either like you use a ton of card spray or you just use a little light touch. But for this job, we're just going to use a little light touch. Sorry, I got to remember that you guys are watching too. I'm like holding it and looking at it. So after I get all these, just a little bit of card spray on them. I'm gonna see if we can get them in good shape. Oh, hey, did you guys, I like watching auction sites, you know, and who doesn't, you know, like I love watching auction sites. Do you guys know that there is a Bob Ross painting for sale on the Ken Golden site on Golden Auctions? And I was like, oh my God, I gotta have it. And then I looked at the price, and the opening bid is $10,000. I was like, oh man, I need a Bob Ross painting. It would look awesome here in my sports room, by my guitars and by my all my sports stuff. Nothing says rock and roll like mountains with a river and snow on the trees. You know, yeah, you guys saw that. Yeah, I was looking at it today. I'm always looking up music stuff. You know, I love finding music memorabilia, and sometimes you can find sleepers on there because the you know, a lot of it's sports heavy, so you can find some cool stuff that might not, belong. But the Bob Ross was pretty awesome. But I did, since I like art and I like collectibles, I heard that his stuff is extremely hard to authenticate. So it's like, because his handlers and all that stuff were like the only people that would authenticate his stuff, and then they found warehouses of his stuff that was like all fraudulent that they were selling. So it's like, I think that they greed ruined that one. So there's probably not. I'm sure there's plenty of legitimate Bob Ross stuff out there, but me as an amateur buyer, I wouldn't even know what the hell to look for. Yeah, it's cool that you guys used to watch him. I grew up further outside of Metro Detroit, where it's like pretty much very country, and we did not have much. We didn't really have phone, not phone. We had a phone. We didn't have. It was one of those phones that stuck to the wall, and you had to go over there and put your finger in like the 1 and drag it over, then the 2 and drag it over. We kicked it old school. But my point is, we didn't have a lot of TV channels, and but we got PBS, man, and I watched Bob Ross all the time. I thought that guy was cool as hell. All right, so I'm just reading the Bob Ross comments here, guys. Pardon me. Yeah, see, wow, they're fake. He never sold one painting. Yeah, yep, I did see that documentary. Yeah, weird, So, okay, so here's what we did, guys. While we're talking about Bob Ross, we got the corners of the Jeter in a better position. So now they're not folding in on themselves, right? We just did a little bit of card spray, and the card tool is sweet for this type of stuff, because this is not a strong card. It's not like a Prism card where you have to you probably can't do much with the Prism card when it comes to the corners on the front. Well, I think most of us know that now, but so we got this in a good shape. So what I want to do is remember this. I took a picture of it, but I would love to be able to get that faint dent out of the front. Like years back, I would have just said, well, even not even years back, months back, even maybe a year ago, I'd have been like, no, that stuff's kind of difficult. I can never get it out, because I'd always I'd try to put it in the humidor. Humidity might work. You know what I mean? Humidity might work, but I just want to try something different. All right. That's why I like Wednesday Night Live, because it's like, no matter what happens, we learn something, right? If it works or it doesn't, so whatever. So here's what I want to do. I got a good question. I can see this one. So how much time should you spend on a stain before giving up? All right, can't just leave us hanging. Tell us more. What kind of card is it? And what kind of stain is it? Give us some more data, and you got some good card people on the call here, so I'm sure we could all put our minds together for you. So this is a question from Meow Listen Here. All right, so tell us what you're dealing with, man, and we'll give you some card therapy. All right. Okay, so what I want to do is, because the back of the card's pretty good, but since those corners were still like, if you guys can't tell, there's still like a little bit of that. I call it the triangle of death. When it comes to that corner, like when the line goes from one edge to the other. So just trust me, they're not perfect, okay? So what I want to do is I'm just going to do, like, I call it Pokemon style, where I just do one little Mystic card spray. It's awkward for me to do it this way because I don't want to shoot it over here, so just listen for it. Oh, it's kind of like a weak spray. Hold on. All right, so that's all I wanted, just a little spray, all right? So what we're going to do is, I want that on the front, so we're trying to get that out, this indent. And we can even check on it at the end of the show if you want, but it probably won't do much by then, but we'll still check. All right, I did the exact same thing to the back. So what this is going to do is a couple things. Super light amount of moisture. But I find that a super light amount of moisture is pretty good when it comes to getting stubborn little like indents or things that like maybe we put our thumbs into, or just, whatever. I can't really, guess how every card issue happens, but it's usually at a collector's hand if it's not made crappy at one of the factories, So that was something that dented into it. So I'm just going to hold it like that. Little bit of card spray, okay? And then we're going to hold it like that. So remember this one, and we'll check on it at the end of the show. I'm just going to put it next to me, And next on my list, I have a Charizard. We're going to do that one next. And hang tight, you guys. I'm going to say, all right, cheers, everybody. So if you guys have your beverages tonight, I got the Blue Monster tonight, so cheers to everybody. All right, so good question. So Eric, I see you. Eric, what's up, buddy? Eric said I have the same question. So Eric and Meow Listen here, we're asking about vintage stains. All right, so let me read these out loud, you guys. And like I said, I can see we got a good group of card people on here. So let's start with Eric's. Did a 57 Topps John Henry card, has some kind of grease stain on the lower right corner. I soaked it for 35 minutes. Now, Eric, is it on the front of the card? If it's on the front of the card, Eric, I would let the card be totally dry. And then try a little bit of card polish on it. Card polish is better at breaking down oily stuff. So try that one. And if not, we can always, you guys can hit me with a message. All right. So yeah, send me a picture, Eric. We'll take a look. Now, Meow Listen here wrote a 66 volt Chamberlain. It's on the back. I used cotton swabs and blotted it several times. I'm not seeing anything on the swabs. Now, yeah, I wonder what it would look like. So here's what I can do. If anybody's got any ideas, like usually if there's a stain, I try to soak it out of a card. I like where you started by tapping it. That sometimes it can be that easy. But based on, if you want to show me a picture, send me a picture tomorrow. I'll take a look at it. Because what it could be is, if it's something that could use a soak or a semi-soak, there could be a couple ways to get it out. All right. So if you watched, here's what I'll have you guys watch before hitting me up. Watch the Joe Namath video. Watch the video I just did of this guy. It was super stained on the back. Do you guys remember this one? If anybody was out there that watched it, this thing had stains all over it. And I just did a semi-soak on it and I got it that clean. And it was covered in junk. And the front was covered in wrinkles and creases. So this one kicks ass. So if you guys if you want to watch a good video for dirty stuff, I just posted this one today. And if that doesn't work, you guys should send me a picture. I'll take a look. You know what I mean? All right. So, oh yeah. Hey, somebody fill me in since I'm doing the show right now. What's going on with basketball? Is Boston winning? All right, so next, let me move on here, you guys. So here's what we're going to do with this one, all right? And here's what I have with the Charizard. So this is one of my sons, and here's what I got on this one. It's just kind of like dirty. We got some stuff in the holographic area. Let me get some good light here if you guys don't mind. We're going to get some extra light. Got a nail mark. So those suck, right? Got some just crap on the card. All right. This is something I can teach with too, you guys, because there's a couple things on here. Hopefully we can clean up. There's just like junk on the card. So we're going to clean the card first, and then I'm going to have to hold it, just like I showed you the other one, because I'm pretty sure that we can get most of this dent out, hopefully. But if it's going through to the back, which it is right there on the M, I'll show you a way that we can get a head start on it, okay? Oh, Boston is winning. Yeah, man, Boston's a damn good basketball team. Being that I don't have a dog in the fight and I just like to watch them. Yeah, Boston's legit. They're good. So yeah, for sure. I had, I think somebody asked me for help. Bantos asked me for a question if I could help him clean up. I can't help do the cards for you personally, brother. But if you need some tips, man, I can help you. Here's something I want you guys to do. All right. So while I'm getting ready for this, I want to clean this card first. If you guys need help, I always answer. But the thing is, and I know it's personal, and I'll always be that type of guy to get back to you. But sometimes you don't have to wait for me. On my YouTube page, you guys, I have everything saved under playlists. All right. Yeah. So everything that I know how to do, I have on a playlist. All right. So feel free to follow my YouTube channel, guys. So if you ever have an issue or something like that, basically everything I know how to do is saved on there. All right. So let's move on here. All right. All right, we're going to clean this card first. There's just a few things I want to see if I can get off. This got like kind of surface residues. This might be, oh yeah, there is something stuck to the card right there. Let's clean it up. All right, let's just, instead of looking at it, let's just take care of it. So for this one right here, you guys, I'm going to change gears and we're going to use card polish, all right? Yeah, man, you guys can, if anybody needs help, man, you guys can email me for tips or you can Instagram me. I'll always write you back, guys. I'll never leave you hanging. That's why I do this show, like, because if you guys aren't familiar with like what I'm doing here, like these products here that you see me use, that's me. I'm Kurt. I make this stuff. But I just thought it would be too intimidating when I started offering this years back, like to be like, hey, here it is, just figure it out. So I'm happy to make demonstrations and coach you guys and teach you. So I'll always reply to your messages and help you out in that regard. And if something just doesn't look doable, I'm always going to tell you that too. I bet you every person on this call that I chat with and talk with, I'm sure there's plenty of times I said, no, don't do it. You know, so I'll point you in the right direction. If it's something I know how to do, I'll tell you how to do it. South County Cards TCG asked a question: do grading companies, give any pushback for cleaning cards? I've graded thousands and thousands of cards. I've never had a grading company not grade a card for card cleaning. I collect a lot of vintage cards. I've had them say that they were like trimmed before, or that they were minimum size requirement before. So like, stuff like that I didn't do to it. But for just like cleaning a card like this or prepping it, no. Good question though, man. I know a lot of my customers like to, a lot of my customers enjoy grading their cards for sure. So good question. So let me show you where we're at. Well, that's good. That came off. That's a nice part. Card polish, you guys will bring out a lot of that sparkle in those holographic areas too. Like I didn't even notice that in this card until now. That looks good. All right. We see any more crap on the front? I know there's a fingernail mark. We're going to go after that. I just like to get the surface clean as I can before our next step. Where was it? So let me share some stuff with you guys. See the white stuff? It's permanent. I don't have a way to get that back, you guys. The blue paint's missing. That's a question I get a lot. So if you were like, oh, how do you get that back? That's gone, unfortunately. But let's see if we can get whatever that is. We got some junk on the card. We can get that off. Kind of both corners are a little dirty, so let's do that. Yeah, Eric, send me a picture of the card. I'll take a look at it, man. I don't even want to keep it. I want you to keep it. I want you to be able to take care of it. So, if there's a way to fix it, man, I will tell you. But you guys, I tell you too, like, I might not say this enough. Like, let me show you guys some stuff. Like over here, I have cards and cards and cards and cards and cards. Do you know that like I'll sit down and try to work on stains or work on stuff? Like I had probably like a pile of cards I was going through. So I always want to try to show you guys something fresh or something good or something unique. Just cleaning a card is awesome too. But it's just, I try to keep a variety. I sat here for like the past 2 weeks, man, like striking out on stuff. Like can't fix this edge, can't fix this corner, soak a whole card, damn creases won't go anywhere. So I just want to take a second to tell you guys, working on cards is awesome. It's a great pastime. It brings a lot of us together. But don't be hard on yourself, you guys, if you can't get something out. At least you did something, you know what I mean? And I want you to know that I don't just hit home runs every single card I touch, you know what I mean? So it's just just part of the gig. All right, good. I got the crap off. That's what I was looking for. And I can't get the blue to come back. That's just gone. So here's what I want to do, though. This is something I really, really enjoy doing. See the nail mark? Just until a short time ago, you guys, I'd say it's impossible to get that thing out. Now I am more confident than ever of getting stuff like this out. So I want to just get a little bit of a head start. And what I want to do is put the card face down, and I want to do it on just a penny sleeve, because we just cleaned the surface, and you don't want to put a holographic card down on a plastic surface and start moving it around. No friction if possible. So it's kind of hard for me to give you guys an angle on this, but this is the back side of the dent. This is what I'm going for. So there's the front side. We're going to go to the back side of it, and I'm feeling it. So I'm just going to put another sleeve over it because I don't want to remove this paint. And I'm just going to use my card tool to just hopefully move it forward a little bit. Because I think that we're going to have to still put the card between pads and use a little bit of moisture. But all that takes time. So if we can go at the dent from the back side of the card and push it back into its normal spot, that's going to help us a lot more get it back in shape quicker. Does that make sense? Just a little bit asked, does this work on optic prism cards? There's a lot of stuff you can do to optic and prisms. Anything specific that you were wondering about, man? Because they all have limits, but so I see that's the part I was pushing on right there. It's kind of, so it didn't do a whole lot to the front. As you can see, it's still in there. But this is where we change gears, you guys, and I feel that I got the card as clean as I can. And now, here's the key. A very light amount of moisture. This one's I'm going to have to show, well, I think most of tonight's stuff, you guys, I'm going to have to do a follow-up with you and show you stuff tomorrow or the next day. But here's what I want to do. I am going to put a little bit of card spray on. I'm going to do it exactly like we did with our first card. But I'm just going to use a little bit. Here's the thing, and I got to stress this to you guys. Like with Pokemon cards using moisture, a little tiny bit they can do. If you get too much moisture on these cards, they get a weird texture, and they don't come back right. That's it. Just little mist I put on there, okay? So we're going to do both sides because the front has a dent, and I want to get the back a little moist so it helps it come back into its place, and I want the front to be a little moist too just to help it move back into place. That's it. Seriously, it's got to be super light. And then, I can't wait to show you this one. I think it will work out well. When you have a crease that goes up and down, creases suck. But this is pretty darn good for a nail marker or something like that. Oh, Everett's got a question. I think Everett's talking about creases. Let me see what he has to say. Everett, I'm not sure. I'd have to see an example. I thought he was asking something about this. But what I'm doing right here, you guys, is just going to hold it just like we did the last card. And I'm not going to touch this thing at all tonight. Like, this thing is just going to stay closed here. We can take a look at the Derek Jeter before we wrap up tonight because it might have had a little bit of movement. But I'm not going to touch the Pokemon card at all. We're going to let that one sit overnight. And you're going to have to come back to my page tomorrow and take a look at it, all right? So let's take a look here, okay? And then here's what so this was a cool card. This is a card that I've always liked. And Pokemon friends out there, thanks for your patience. I know I got more coming up, I promise. Look at, this was just a dirty card. Let me see if I got anything else in here. Oh, I got some of that coming up. My Red Wings, I got Probert. I got a few of these coming our way. You guys, can I show you here? You know how we like to show off cards when we get in the mail? You guys want to see some stuff I got in the mail today? Off my auction winnings. How cool are these? Randy Moss, rookie. And Barry Sanders, not rookie, but they just match. Had to get both. Cool as hell, right? I love those. Oops. All right, don't knock my camera over. We got one more card to do. So last one, all right? Yeah, these chops on Ozzie are fantastic, aren't they? And look, I got this card in Philly at the Philadelphia Card Show. at the casino, and shout out to my buddy Brett. Brett, you're watching tonight. What's up, man? Hope you and the family are doing well. But I love going through the cheap bins and see the stuff, the residue on Ozzie's face. And then on his jersey, I'm trying to get the best light I can. I feel like I'm struggling with light tonight. So we got residue on Ozzie's face and over here on his shoulder. And I think I got the card for like $10. But you see, I'm going to see the dent right below his shirt line. I hate dents like that. They're difficult sometimes to get out. So I'm going to that's why I got this card, because I think that the stuff on his face is like old wax. So we should be able to get that off. The corners all look pretty good except for that one. So I want to do the corner first. I want to do the corner first on this one because I just want to see if I can get it to look any better. It sucks when you have a crease that goes from one edge to another. It's very difficult to get totally out. But the other ones look good. The centering looks really freaking good. And if, I know it's a little off center on the back, but, my vintage collector's on here, the way it looks pretty darn good for a card that you get for like $15. Hey, Levi, I want to hear, you gotta say card, and you gotta send it to me. How do you like this Detroit accent? Is that what you're telling me? I'm glad you watched, Levi. It's good to have you here tonight, buddy. All right. So, am I unbanned from PSA? I've never been banned from PSA, guys. So I don't even deal with PSA personally. So I don't think that they would give me a fair shot for anything. They're not very open-minded, So let's clean this thing up, is what I'm trying to say. Let's do that. Do you guys like how what PSA do? Raise their rates again? I saw that recently. I wonder what comes with that added rate. Better service? Probably not. We'll I know that naturally card care and grading kind of are, they kind of go in the same conversation, but it's something that I don't really have any connections with PSA ever. I mentioned before I reached out to them once and sent them a nice message, but never heard back. So I imagine they're too busy making like $100 million a month or something like that, or like several $100 million a month. Can you imagine? Could you imagine if you owned that company? Yeah, So yeah, that is the mafia. PSA comes into a hobby and makes something that's abundant scarce. Wow, man, that is wild. But overall they do a pretty good job. So they do make some cards really valuable. So I'm just putting a little bit of moisture on the back of this corner here, guys, because I'm gonna end up holding this card flat. But I'm just trying to give it a little bit of a head start. A little bit of moisture sometimes can unpack that type of stuff, like we've been doing tonight. Oh, hey, Meow Listen wrote, can you pre-soak just the back of a card? You want to keep it kind of even, because if you get it just kind of like one side of a card wet, not the other side, it's going to start curling real hard on you. So you usually got to go back and forth. That's just a general rule. But it just depends on what type of card it is. So let's try to get this residue off the front, guys. That's what I'm trying to do now. So let's show you what I'm seeing. It's like I'll see if we can get that off his face. But yeah, when it comes to getting your cards graded, you guys, I imagine most of you guys use PSA, right? Has that been like the standard? And I know Pokemon collectors probably watch the show too. Like, what do you guys like? Love a certain grading company, or are they just the ends justify the means? I wish they just had more for the price you pay. I wish that you got better service. I feel like that PSA especially, like, since they grade the most cards, they probably have the most ambiguity. But, like, I wish they would have, just for the price we pay for cards to be graded, why wouldn't they come with a brief amount of notes? So if somebody can say that this card is a 6, why couldn't they have like a few presets where they just touch and say it's a 6 because this, and this, and we value this at 2 points, 1 point, and 1 point. So therefore we give you a 4 or a 6. You know what I mean? I wonder why that is so damn tricky, especially with the amount of money they make and the amount of business that we throw at them. It's weird to me. That is one thing I really, really liked about BGS. It was, I love the subgrades. I thought that was always, as a collector, I really liked that. Yeah, I want a fair grade too, check that out. That helps you get a fair grade. Get that remove that, all that wax came off, you guys. Anytime you see old wax on the front of a card, use card polish, you'll get it. I'm liking what we're doing. So we still got some dents right there. I'm going to do the same thing to this as we're doing to every other card tonight. So yeah, I did watch that show. That was the same one where that guy was up there and they asked him about card care, and he sounded ridiculous. So, oh well, I don't need PSA to approve of my work. I just want you guys to get your cards graded, which has never ever been a problem. You guys and I have graded thousands and thousands and thousands of cards and prepped thousands and thousands and thousands of cards. So, I think that it's a must, and if grading companies don't think that collectors like to prep cards, are crazy. It's just like plug your eyes and close your ears. You know what I mean? It's strange to me. And especially, as of lately, guys. So thank you for keeping me so busy. I appreciate you guys so much. So I think that we're pretty good with this one. So now what I want to do is I just want to see if we can get that little bit of that dent out. So I'm going to take it slow. The surface looks great. I think this was absolutely worth spending like $15 on. I think it was it says 20, but I'm sure knowing me, I'm sure I offered 15 or something like that, Matt asks a good question. Have you ever soaked a card with a serial number? Did it affect serial number? Yes, I have, Matt. I have soaked cards with serial numbers. Bowman Chrome. I've done that, and I have not had an issue. I've only done probably 2 or 3 cards with serial numbers. So I haven't had a problem, but I was very careful not to touch on it or anything like that. Just straight from soaking it to put it to the drying process. So I'm just going to do the same exact thing here. You guys see what I'm doing? We're going to do just 2 hits of spray on that. Same deal right there. We'll put Ozzie right here, and hopefully we can get these little bumps out of the surface to make that corner look a little bit better. But this technique has been kick-ass for me, you guys. Just use a little light touch of moisture like this. And that works pretty darn well. All right, so that's where we're at. So if you guys want, let's take a quick peek real quick. And I'm going to show you these guys as soon as I can. Hopefully, as soon as they're looking good. I don't like to look at them too quick. But I want to just take a look at our Jeter real quick and see if we can notice any movement. Well, I can tell that the moisture is touching the cards. We got some bumps in there. See? That's what moisture will do. Well, hey. Nothing yet. Checking it too early. Put the roast back in the oven, right? So that's what we'll do. So let's close this up and we'll let it dry. I don't even want to open it back up. I just want to let it sit in here and do its whole thing, and then I'll open it up. All right? So, well, cool. Yeah, Eric, thanks, man. I will look at your email tomorrow. And if anybody ever has any questions for me, you can direct message me or you can send me an email. kurtzcardcare@gmail.com. And let me pick up my phone here, you guys, and want to say what's up. What's going on, you guys? Nice to see everybody tonight, and thanks for joining. And I hope that tonight was fun and educational, and I hope everybody's having a great summer, man. So happy summer to everybody. Let me just read and see if I missed any questions here. 4K Travel wrote me something that said, have you seen people putting cards into humidifiers, then putting the cards in circle glass? Yeah, man, I think that's probably something I showed people how to do a lot. Humidity works great with cards. I actually have a card in the humidor right now. Had some edge and corner problems, and I put a little bit of moisture in it. Seemed to help it a little bit, but I put it back into the humidor because I just want to rest in there. Sometimes nice humidity will just help a paper card out a little bit. So then, you know what? That's a good question. Somebody wrote, what was the top highlight from the card show this past weekend? You know, I'm normally a very quiet person in public, especially like when it's around strangers. You know, I don't know. I can talk to you guys or sit here in my office and talk, but usually I'm pretty quiet at stuff like this. But now, when it comes to the card shows now, many people know me from this channel, and it almost feels like visiting a bunch of like people that you've known for a while. So like that's cool to me. That is cool. You know, we run our business at home. If anybody else out there is like self-employed, and if you're like an entrepreneur and you're like run your own shop and you're at home and your staff's here or wherever it is, you kind of like, I don't go out as much. I'm pretty at home, so I don't have a big circle of you know, people I connect with on a day-to-day. So that was fun. I think the community aspect was probably my favorite part. Thanks for asking. That's a good question. Let me read another question here. David wrote, I noticed that card spray reacts in a not so conducive manner to Pokemon cards. Have you noticed this in your trials and errors? Yes, David. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're just using card spray to wipe down a card, no, I've never had a problem with that. But if you ever put too much of it, like, I'm not sure, David, how much of the show you watched tonight, but we got a Charizard in here tonight. You can only put like one spray on each pad if you're going to try to do a dent removal, because if you get it too wet, yes, it will leave a weird, funky texture. And that's why for years I didn't even think that I could ever get dents out of a Pokemon card, because I would get them too wet and I would screw them up. And then sometimes humidity would help a little bit, but not always. So let me know if that makes sense. If it does, or if you need questions or want to show me a picture, man, that's totally cool. Pat asked about yellow tape on the back of a vintage card. Pat, probably not. You know, the when that glue turns that brown yellow, they go bad. I could never get that yellow all the way out. And I would try all kinds of like products and chemicals and stuff like that just to see if I could get stuff out like that. And a lot of times, no, you know, it just wouldn't change much. Yeah, David, very, very similar surface. Like, so if you're working on something tomorrow, Dave, why don't you show me a picture? The variable is how much you use. Okay. And if you guys want to watch any of those like Pokemon videos, like I have a playlist on my YouTube page called TCG. So if you guys want to watch any of that stuff, or dings and dents. Teddy asks, what's the best way to get scratches out? Ted, honestly, man, most scratches are going to be permanent, but like, I'll break it down a little bit like this. The only thing I can ever use to get like any sort of like streaking off a card is typically card polish. It's almost like, you know, like if I scratch my arm right now, you could like see an abrasion on there. Usually like if a card has a scuff on it or like some sort of streaks or something like that, sometimes you can wipe that stuff off. But it's like almost like if you walked past your like vehicle and put your hip into it, you know how you can usually like buff that out. But if somebody keyed your car, like you ain't buffing that out. It's permanent. It's almost like cars are very similar to automobiles in that way, where if it's scratched into the protective layer and removed any of the clear coat or any of the top coat, it's just permanent at that point. But I always try, especially if you get new cards, like or like TCG stuff with like light abrasions in the foil. Card polish rocks these, very good. But if you have like Prism or Optic cards or any of those cards with a heavy plastic front, and you get a big scratch on them. That's just usually, there's not usually anything you can do, man. You know, so Peter's asking about the back of the Pokemon card. I worked on a bunch, Peter, and I don't even know the one we just put in there. It looked more of, I don't know. I'd have to take a look. When I'll post the before and after pictures, but I'm not sure what year it was. I got a picture of the card posted, so I am not sure. But I do know that certain Pokemon cards do have a different texture of them. So that's why I always suggest you guys, no matter what you do, that's why I always have like piles of base cards and stuff like that, because I'm never going to just like try something that I've done on a different set and be like, oh, it must work the exact same way. It's the best part, one of the most forgiving parts, I'd say, about this type of restoration work is there's so many base cards that are made out of the same material that you should never have to jump into something that is over your head or you haven't practiced before. You know, there's usually a couple days after you place an order on eBay, it'll show up. You know what I mean? So today I organized a whole container of base cards from all the years of stuff I like to collect. So good questions, you guys. I got a couple more here. Oh, what's that name of the dentist black tool? It's I got it right here. It's just a dental scaler. If you guys, these are cool. These are helpful. I get it on Amazon, of course. If you go to Amazon, search dental tools, search plastic dental tools, and like this, and like 4 of them come in a pack, and they're like $4. They're cool. So good question. I'm glad you guys are here watching this stuff. Thank you. When you do work on a card, is there a warranty if something happens? No, Teddy, there's no warranty. And I work on my own cards. I don't work on customer cards. So what you're watching, Ted, is I teach others how to work on cards. So it is something that you literally take into your own hands if you decide to work on cards. Next, Matt asked me a question. Do I like the Tortillon, or do I like and what Matt is asking, I'm going to show you both. Matt's asking if I like the Tortillon. Sorry, this one I've mangled a few times. Or this. Do you know why I mainly use this now, you guys? Because I can show you my videos better. You can see my hand. When I use this, you guys all use this to like work on edges and corners, and then the video looks like this. You know what I'm saying? So I like them both, Matt. I use them both. As you can see, I use it all the time. I use this all the time. But I just like to be able to use moisture in hard to reach places. So anything with like a little tip, those work good. Good question. Good question. David, thank you for asking. Hey, David, if anybody has base cards, I mean, I don't need a ton of base cards, but if there's like anything cool that you guys ever have throughout, like that maybe even something new comes out or something that like you got a couple base cards of, there's a common problem you guys see on certain cards, thank you for thinking of me. I have received so many good cards in the mail, non-valuable and like collectible value, but valuable for demonstration purposes. So if anybody has any cards that you think would be a good demonstration or something like that, yeah, thank you. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. Don't send me anything good because I don't want to have to send it back. You know, I just want to be able to use it for teaching demos. If you have anything that would like fit the bill, I got plenty of vintage cards. I got plenty of Pokemon cards, stuff like that. But if there's anything else unique out there, for sure. So you guys, I appreciate you all hanging out tonight, man. It was a good night. And I do card shows. Usually, here's the thing. I feel my life is a card show. And that's a great thing. I'm proud, and for that I thank you. I've been, pretty much all day, every day, I'm on our channels or in our email box or talking to like our customers or whatever. So like when I go to a card show, I'm a shopper. I just go there and hang out. I go there and I dig through the dollar bins. I always feel like when it comes to vintage. And sorry, I'm sure there's guys out there going, no, man, I would never do that. But like, I feel like every vintage table I go up to, it's like 100% over comps. As soon as you start talking to them, oh, dude, I just saw that Doncic fouled out and they were coming back. God, that sucks. I feel like every card show I go to where there's vintage and it's something I want, say it's $100 card and it's for sale for $200. I'll be like, hey, I don't mind paying like recent comps. I'll pay like the $100. I'm not a cheapskate, but 200 is too much. And then I'll get guys that are like, comps, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, it's a fairly common card. You know, they made a lot of 1956 Yogi Berras, you know, or something like that. And then it almost feels like they take it personal. So I'm like, I almost like just buying cards like just on the auction sites where there's no, you know, I like BSing and talking to everybody at card shows. But, you know, I did get a lot of the stuff from card shows today. So I live in Detroit, so mainly in the Midwest. But this end of this month, you guys, if I'll give a good shout out to my friends in, what's that wonderful state? Rhode Island. It's a little state, Rhode Island. We're coming to Warwick, Rhode Island, and it's going to be at the Crown Jewel Card Show at the end of the month, so just a couple weeks. So if anybody's in Rhode Island at the end of June, my wife and I will be at the show on, it's a 2-day show, I believe, Saturday and Sunday. So come see us if you guys are there. Okay, we did it. I owe you a follow-up, and I'll do that tomorrow. I got everything chilling over here, and I got some good stuff coming your way soon, so stay tuned. And if anybody had any questions for me, guys, email me or message me. I'm going to be crashing here tonight, but I will get back to you soon. So happy summer. Make sure you do this. I'm doing a giveaway. I'm going to do giveaways more often. More often because I've never done one, so more often. All right, so here's what you got to do. Go to kurtzcardcare.com. There's going to be a giveaway tab. I think it'll be up there tomorrow. Enter it. And each month I'm going to give away like a kit or a vintage bundle or things like that. And that's what we're going to do. All right. So I just want to give back because you guys have given me so much, man. You're the greatest people to work for in the world. And I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and better care of somebody else. I'm Kurt with Kurt's Card Care. Good night.